Do you sometimes feel on a deep level a sense inside that you are not enough, that you don't fit in a fundamental way? Or is there an illness or injury that you cannot heal that's been going on for a long time? This is your Chiron wound, and it may be triggered in the next few weeks as Chiron stations direct in the sign of Aries. In this video, we're going to look at how you can work with Chiron's energy towards healing yourself and how through that you can also help to heal others. We will look at where transiting Chiron is in your chart with an all signs breakdown, the part of your life that Chiron is affecting, and how to work with that energy. Hello everybody, my name is Fiona of sunandmooncalendar.com. I make calendars like this one for Aotearoa and for New Zealand, and in this video I'm going to focus on Chiron. Chiron, around about the time this video comes out, is square to Jupiter, and so we might be noticing that inner wounded energy more. And also Chiron is coming up as soon as straight after New Year to stationing to turn direct in the sign of Aries, and next year it moves into Taurus. There's a lot of Chiron energy around at the moment, so you may find that some feelings of not belonging or even some kind of deep shame has been bubbling up for you, or is coming up some kind of trigger or triggers to that. So let's get into what is going on with Chiron. So this video about Chiron stationing direct follows up on a video that I did with my astrology teacher Ksenia Moore, and I will link that in the description below. In that video we are talking specifically about the Chiron Jupiter square that we're under the influence of now. It started in October. It became exact on the 20th, 21st of December, so that's around about the time this video comes out, I know. And it will become exact again in the middle of 2026. But also, shortly after that, on Friday the 2nd or Saturday the 3rd of January, as we get into that new year, Chiron is changing direction. Okay, so Chiron is currently in Aries, and as this video is released, it's coming to about 22 of Aries. It's slowing down, ready to change direction. Chiron is a slow-moving planet. It spends different amounts of time in each sign, but in the sign of Aries, it's been there since 2018 through 2019. And next year, 2026, Chiron moves into Taurus, then back into Aries a bit, then back into Taurus again. So it's a planet that is going through some interesting movements and is going to be more into the forefront. And I feel because we have that mini grand trine operating at the moment, 25, 26, 27, with the outer planets forming the triangle that's bringing about great innovation and transformation. Pluto's involved, the transformation, innovation with Uranus and Neptune, and also solidity and lasting change with Saturn, and also Uranus, because once Uranus changes things up, things last. The change doesn't go back to what it was. All right, but Chiron is active, and it's actually coming up in maybe next year, can't remember, to the point where it was discovered, which was early degrees of Taurus. But I feel like with a lot of these changes that are coming to us that we are going to be brought along with, and changes that are happening in our internal selves, but changes coming from the outside as well. The wounded, the inner wounds that we have that drive a lot of our behaviors that damage the earth and hurt each other, and we hurt ourselves because of as well, like the feelings of shame and not belonging, and the panic and fear that we can have when that is triggered, drives a lot of our behaviors that cause damage. And I'm thinking that with Chiron pretty activated around with the change to the sign of Taurus, and the square to Jupiter, that it's a really good time to be working on those inner wounds as we enter a great deal of newness in our world. I could say a new world, but maybe that's too overly dramatic. Anyway, our inner wounds, it's our job to work on them. So let's talk about that with Chiron moving direct. Here are some dates. Jupiter was conjunct Chiron, so that was a new beginning with those two in March 2023. That's around about the time of Saturn went into Pisces, actually. And then Jupiter square Chiron on the 21st of December, the date that this video comes out in New Zealand. And then Chiron is turning direct on the 2nd or 3rd of January. And then Chiron enters Taurus in June. Okay. Here is a sort of statement I've put together about Chiron not using AI. Well, every human brain has elements of AI because we pick up things from everywhere. But no, this is from me, but from studying Chiron. All right. And I want to acknowledge one particular astrologer, Melanie Reinhardt, who's done amazing work with Chiron. All right. And her work has helped me. To be human is to be vulnerable. Chiron helps us to understand and accept our wounded self. And from there we can understand and help the wounds of others, help others to heal. Okay? We can see other people going around being fabulous in their lives and forget that they too have some area of their life where they feel deeply wounded or ashamed or fearful. Okay? And the fear side can also be our Pluto placement, but it's helpful if you know how to look up your birth chart to go and see where Chiron is in your chart, especially if you know your rising sign, because then you can see the house that Chiron falls in. But the subject of this video is more about Chiron and where it is now. So Chiron was wounded in 3 ways, and in the video with Ksenia I said 2 ways, but I've decided to break one of those into 2. Okay, so first of all, Chiron was rejected by his mother because he came out as half horse, half human. He was a centaur, and there's this enormous mother wound with Chiron. So this is that psychological or emotional wound that we have, and it may have been there for so long, like it would have been actually formed in our infanthood, been there for so long that we just are so familiar with it, and we push it down or we do some work on it, and it stays down low for a while, but then it can come out again, and it might be coming out with that Chiron turning direct and the square with Jupiter. It might be triggered. 2 other ways in which Chiron was wounded. He was shot in the leg or the ankle by a poison arrow, and so in one way this was an injury that he was never able to heal from. Secondly, the poison is like a toxin, and I'm calling that like an illness, and this is the kind of thing that might come to you later in life where you have an injury that's with you for the rest of your life, or an illness that you cannot heal, and you might work on healing it, and you must work on healing it and trying to make progress with it. And from the work that you do with healing, either that inner belonging wound or that inner shame or I'm not enough, or the injury to your body or the illness, you will help yourself and you will make improvements, but also that wisdom goes out to benefit others. Okay? And there's 2 ways that that you can help others with Chiron. One is that through the learning, through that wisdom, through the knowledge, as you work on your own healing journey, you can help others. And Chiron, the original figure, was the centaur himself. He was a renowned healer, a medicine person. Okay? And there's ways, there'll be ways that you can heal others, whether that's through actual practical skills of healing, like being a doctor, being a nurse, or through any kind of alternative medicine or healing practices, energy healing. Sometimes it might even be sending prayers out to people and they don't even know that you're sending those. Okay. And the other way that Chiron, and you can help other people through that Chiron energy, is with empathy and understanding. And that sounds small, but that can be absolutely enormous. Sometimes if you're absolutely feeling terrible about something and you find the right person who listens in the right way and sees how things are for you and understands that can be so healing just in itself. So these are the ways that Chiron can help, with empathy, understanding, and having patience and acceptance of others, and also just through the practical knowledge and of healing and how the body works and how the heart works and the mind, the psychology. Okay. So Chiron has been retrograde in the sign of Aries from July, and it will be turning direct on the 2nd or 3rd of January. And Chiron has been in the sign of Aries since around 2018 or 19. While Chiron's been retrograde, our healing journey, where we're working to heal either those illnesses, injuries, or inner wounds, has gone a little more internal. It's been like an internal review. We've been focused more on ourselves, and it's been an internal inside process, not so much healing others. Or where it has been, it might have been a little bit more directionless or confused, where we've been going back over aspects of our healing journey that we'd already been going over, because Chiron moved forward through the degrees around about, I think, 28 degrees of Aries back to 22 degrees of Aries, and then it's going to move forward over those again. So there's a revision of the healing process for the self, or reviewing how you're working as a healer with others, okay, during that time. And that time might have felt less productive and less like there was any progress with healing, but it's all important to review things and revise, okay. And then from early January until August 2026, Chiron will be moving direct, and this is where we can move into a period that might feel more productive with how we address wounds, how we address healing. We can do it in a more direct, purposeful way, and also how we support the healing of others through the empathy, the forgiveness, or the practical healing and medical approaches, however that is, okay. Like, you know, healing in practical ways can be so many things. It might be that you're helping somebody by giving them nutritious food, or it might be that you're cooking for them just to give them some time out, or cleaning their house for them, but also any of those energetic healing ways, all right. But with Chiron direct, it might be that things are moving to a more clear and understandable path where you've got a bit more of a plan going ahead for your healing journey. Okay, you might be clearer in how you apply the wisdom from the retrograde in the outer world. Okay, and Chiron is in Aries, and with Chiron going through Aries, there's some kind of there's been some kind of problem or limitation that might feel like it's to do with psychological shadows and even that feeling of not belonging in the Aries part of your chart, and that's what I'm going to talk about in the all signs breakdown. But with Chiron moving direct, well, Aries is all about being direct, and it might be that it's a good idea to look at going forward with your healing in that Aries style, which is about taking the initiative, following gut instinct, not thinking about the details too much, and being assertive and autonomous. Okay, so even if your family or your partner don't agree with you going off to see a counselor once a week, just do it anyway. Do things for yourself. This is Aries energy. Don't think about it too much. If it feels right, do it. That's what I recommend with Chiron moving direct in Aries, the sign of being direct. So there you go. That is a description of Chiron and how that might be working for all of us, because Chiron is in everyone's chart. We all have that chironic wound in some way, and we are triggered throughout our life with it. I'm now going to go into an all signs breakdown sign by sign, starting from the sign of Aries, so that you can look a little bit and more specifically about where Chiron in the sign of Aries might be affecting you in your chart, and what parts of life that might be affecting, and how you can work with that energy. So here we go. If you are Aries, sun, moon or rising, Chiron is stationing direct on the 2nd or 3rd of January at 22 degrees of Aries in your first house. And Aries, you've had Chiron in that first house of your body, of yourself, of the face that you put out to the world since 2018, 2019. And that's coming to an end in the next couple of years, but there's still some work to do. You will have been gaining wisdom, perhaps gaining in your empathy and understanding of others, but maybe you have also had an illness to deal with, all right? Or an illness or an injury, or it could be that some psychological wounding or past trauma has really been taking effect in your life, and there's been a limitation, or that's been part of you, and it's been maybe part of how the world has seen you as well. And this may have affected your relationships, your one-to-one relationships with partners, your career, your home life, because the first house affects everything. As Chiron comes to station direct at 22 degrees of Aries, and especially if you have any planets or points at 22 Aries, or in any of the cardinal signs, Capricorn, Libra, or Cancer, there may be some part of that wound or that illness or injury that is coming to the fore in your life again, but it is an opportunity to take more direct action. So the internal review will be coming to an end, and you can apply some of the learning that you had with that reflection time into the outer world. And this might be the ability to take some action with making medical appointments, or seeing somebody, seeing a therapist, seeing a healer. You can make those appointments, or there could be some kind of breakthrough that comes with your healing journey, and you're able to move forward with more clarity, more understanding about medication, or more understanding about what is going on for you deep down within, and your sense of belonging, and who you are in the world. So all the best for that, Aries. Please like, comment or subscribe if you like this video, and go to Sun and Moon Calendar to order a calendar for 2026. If you are Taurus, Sun, Moon or Rising, but especially Taurus Rising, Chiron is stationing direct in your 12th house at 22 degrees of Aries on the 2nd or the 3rd of January, depending on where you are in the world. The 12th house is about your escape from the world. It's about how you retreat from the hurly-burly of life and take sanctuary and escape, and do escapist practices like relaxing, watching TV, playing the piano, painting, artistic pursuits, but also entertaining pursuits. It can also be about addictions and overdoing something in order to escape from facing up to the hard parts of life, all right? But it can also be about places that are not part of the main part of the world, like hospitals or care homes, even prisons or retreat centers. Chiron has been in that 12th house over the last since 2018, 2019, and it could be that you are realizing there's some problem or an illness or psychological wounds, and this could have been leading to endings in your life, or it could have been realizing that you are not helping yourself in some ways. In the ways that you escape, you are not supporting yourself enough. And with that Chiron retrograde over the last few months since July, you could have been going down to some inner depths in about your life, about psychological patterns that you have, and realizing some things about those. There also might be a need to let go of things, to let go of aspects of who you are, like that you're identified with. And Chiron retrograde over the last few months might have made you delve down and realize some of this, and it could have been a confusing and a murky time. But as Chiron turns direct, it might be that you're able to face up to some of these areas that need to be healed with more clarity, to look at addictions, to look at escapist patterns, whether that's overwork or just walking away and avoiding problems, and to perhaps find some ways to see more clearly, or to do some healing work to support yourself in how you connect to spirit, to divinity, because the 12th house is about, it's kind of like where we let go of our body and we think about where we are in the bigger picture of the world. And this is the positive expression of the 12th house, so it can be very, very creative, where we're connecting to divine creativity, and this is where music and artwork and can come in, and that could be healing practice like art therapy or music therapy. But yeah, there could be some clarity or understanding about how you are part of the great, great cosmos as a tiny spark of energy that doesn't even have a body. Well, you do have a body now, but your energy and your divine spark will continue forever, eternally. And there could be some renewed understanding of that. Okay, so all the best, Taurus. Please like, comment or subscribe if you like this video. If you're from Australia or New Zealand, remember to order your 2026 copy of the Aotearoa or the Australia Sun and Moon calendar. Bye for now. If you are Gemini, Sun, Moon or Rising, but especially Gemini Rising, Chiron is stationing direct at 22 degrees of Aries on the 2nd or 3rd of January, depending on where you are in the world, in your 11th house. The 11th house is about groups of people or organizations that you belong to. And with Chiron in that house since around 2018, 2019, there could have been some kind of feeling of woundedness or not belonging, or even shame, or where do I belong? Who am I? In terms of the groups that you belong to and the connections with organizations, large, kind of like widespread groups of people. So this could be connections through social media or work organizations, all right, or friendship groups. And maybe there's been some healing that you've needed to do in those years and still need to do over the next couple of years until Chiron moves properly into your 12th house. All right. The 11th house can also be about long-term goals and gains from work. And while Chiron has been retrograde, it could have been that your work to heal any wounds or any sense of lack or not belonging or restriction in any of those areas, long-term goals, gains and benefits that come from your work or your groups of people that you belong to, or any indeed humanitarian projects that you're working on. While Chiron's been retrograde since July, it could have been there's been an internal review of these things and feeling a bit directionless, confused. Where am I going? What am I doing? What do I do next? And things coming up from within and realizing, oh, there's another area I need to heal, I need to work on. Oh my gosh, when's it going to end? Well, with a Chironic wound, it never really ends, but we can work to heal layers. Okay, and as Chiron turns direct on the 2nd or 3rd of January, it might be that you get some insight into or feeling of direction and what you can do next to work on any of this maybe more sense of acceptance and belonging when it comes to groups, or ways that you can work to heal any wounds in that area, Gemini. So all the best for that. Please like, comment or subscribe if you like this video, and if you're from Australia or New Zealand, go to sunandmooncalendar.com to order your 2026 copy of the calendar. If you are Cancer, Sun, Moon or Rising, but especially Cancer Rising, Chiron is stationing direct in your 10th house on the 2nd or 3rd of January, depending on where you are in the world, at 22 degrees of Aries. Okay, so the 10th house is about your career. It's about what you work on over your life to leave a legacy, and you are known for this work. You have a reputation for this work. It can also be simply about your reputation and status in the world, what you're known for in the world in terms of who you are and what you do in the world. Okay, so there has been since 2018, 2019, some kind of wound to this reputation or to your career, problems in your professional life. And while Chiron has been retrograde in since about July and until December, early January, 2nd or 3rd of January, that retrograde meant that there's been an internal review of whatever's going on in these areas, and this wound, this area of your career and your public reputation, reviewing that, wondering why things aren't working out as well as they could, looking inwards. And that time could have been a little bit feeling confused and directionless, but as Chiron turns direct at 22 degrees on the 2nd or 3rd of January, it might be that you come up with some instinctive feelings and a sense of direction about where to move towards next with your healing journey in your career, maybe some things that you can work on to help your professional life, and knowing what to work on next more clearly. So all the best for that, Cancer. Please like, comment or subscribe if you like this video, and if you're from Australia or New Zealand, you can go to sunandmooncalendar.com to order your copy of the 2026 calendar. If you are Leo, Sun, Moon or Rising, but especially Leo Rising, Chiron is stationing direct in your 9th house at 22 degrees of Aries on Friday the 2nd of January or Saturday the 3rd of January, depending on where you are in the world. Your 9th house is about your travel plans, your exploration, your ways that you meaning in the world through exploring and searching for meaning through learning, higher learning, through philosophy, through religion, through your belief systems, or just purely going out and learning about other countries, other cultures. And all of this seeking of meaning and seeking of exploration and adventure, I would also add outdoor adventures into the 9th house, they could have felt limited or damaged, or even where there was some kind of shame, like maybe others or you yourself were questioning your belief systems and wondering if what you believed in actually is somehow distasteful or not right, and reviewing that. And then while Chiron has been going retrograde since July, there's been an internal review. It could have been just limitations to your travel plans or problems with your study. It could have even been that you find out that you can't do higher learning easily because you're dyslexic or something like that, some kind of wound. And it might have been there forever, but it's bubbled up with this Chiron retrograde, and you've noticed it more or in different ways. You've been having an internal review of whatever have been these limitations in your 9th house. As Chiron stations direct, you might come into more clarity about how you can work on this, where to go next, what kinds of healing you can pursue. It could be something like a spiritual counselor to help you understand and tease out or detangle whatever's going on with your belief systems. It could be that you're doing some kind of deconstruction, like religious deconstruction, or working on a decolonization journey as well. And you might get more clarity about where to go to next, what kind of healing support to seek, and more sense of purpose about how to work on your healing journey in the 9th house. So all the best for that, Leo. Please like, comment, or subscribe if you like this video. And if you're from Australia or New Zealand, go to sunandmooncalendar.com to order your 2026 calendar. If you are Virgo, sun, moon, or rising, but especially Virgo rising, Chiron is stationing direct at 22 degrees of Aries on the 2nd or 3rd of January, depending on where you are in the world, in your 8th house. And the 8th house is about shared resources with your partner, or whether that's a business partner or your life partner, a committed relationship where you have shared resources. It can be your partner's money themselves, and it can also be investments or inheritances or even tax money. So some kind of murkiness or confusion over the last few months while Chiron has been retrograde since July. The 8th house can also be about occult practices. It's also about our deep, down low, subconscious, our hidden psychological layers, and through working on any of those, that process can be very transformative and painful, but transformative. So while Chiron's been retrograde, anything where we've been looking at our inner hidden subconscious layers and our deep fears, but also our deep motivations, that could have been more confused. There's been an internal review, anything to do with shared resources with your partner or your partner's money, that might have been more murky and confused. As Chiron stations direct in early January, you might get a clearer idea about where to move to next with working with anything to do with your partner or shared resources, and that includes clients, business partners, anything where you're working in a one-to-one relationship. Or you might get more clear about what kind of occult, exploring, divination practices you want to work on, or anything where you're working on your inner layers, your deep layers, your powerful motivations, and your sense of power in the world. Chiron and the 8th house have similarities in that Chiron is about the inner child and shadow work, and so is the 8th house. With Chiron, it's more specifically about the inner wound. With the 8th house, it's more about deep fears and deep motivations and your deep sense of inner power. Anyway, more direction, more clarity about where to work on next with your healing journey, Virgo. So all the best for that. And please like, comment, or subscribe if you like this video. And if you're from Australia or New Zealand, go to sunandmooncalendar.com to order your 2026 Sun and Moon calendar. If you are Libra, sun, moon, or rising, but especially Libra rising, Chiron is stationing direct at 22 degrees of Aries on the 2nd or 3rd of January in your 7th house. This is your house of partnership, one-to-one partner. Your committed life partner or a committed relationship that you're in, and that can be an intimate partner or a business partner. It can be clients. It can be anyone that you work with or spend time with on a one-to-one basis. So you're looking across at them. Aries is the other side of your chart from you, Libra. You look across at them like you're looking across the table at them. So there's been some kind of wound or limitation or restriction that's been happening, and you've been noticing it perhaps subtly since 2018, 2019 with Chiron in your 7th house, okay? And while Chiron's been retrograde since July, there's been an internal review, and this could be about your partner, themselves, their illness or their inner wounds or their injury, or it could be about you and the ways that you approach partnership and some kind of woundedness there, all right, or illness there. okay? And while Chiron has been retrograde since July, there could have been more confusion about this. There's been an internal review thinking, what is my direction with this next? More vagueness and confusion. But as Chiron turns direct, it might be that you get more of clarity about where to move to next. You'll be ready to take an initiative with healing, maybe with supporting your partner with their healing journey, or working on something with yourself about how you approach partnership. So all the best for that. It could be about finding the right medical process, or it could be about finding the right counseling or healer to work with. All the best, Libra. Please like, comment, or subscribe if you like this video, and go to Sun and Moon Calendar to order your Australia or Aotearoa copy of the Sun and Moon Calendar for 2026 if you're from Australia or New Zealand. If you are Scorpio, Sun, Moon, or Rising, but especially Scorpio Rising, Chiron is stationing direct in your 6th house on the 2nd or 3rd of January at 22 degrees of Aries. The 6th house is about a lot to do with daily life. It's to do with your daily routines for health and exercise in the world. It's about how you give service in the world. Give service in practical ways, usually in the world, by helping others, and your daily work, that service that you give in your paid work in the world, or your volunteer work. So Chiron has been going retrograde in that house, and Chiron's been in that house since 2018, 2019, and it could be that you've been having health problems with your body, some kind of illness or injury that can't seem to be perhaps even diagnosed or healed. And you've been working on that, but maybe it's not been successful. Excuse me, because Chiron is bringing challenges, and it might be related to nutrition even, because Chiron is, the 6th house is about healthy eating. While Chiron's been retrograde since July, there's been confusion or a review of your direction with that healing journey. And as Chiron turns direct, it might be that you get more clarity and sense of direction and purpose about where to work on next with that healing journey. It could be some kind of nutritional supplement that you find out that's helpful, or some kind of exercise program that helps you heal an RSI injury where you've got repetitive strain, or it could be some kind of medical procedure that is helpful for you. And you might want to follow your instinct because it's in the sign of Aries, and that's about gut instinct, but it could help your direction. You'll have more of a sense of direction and purpose about where to go next with that healing journey. So all the best with that, Scorpio. I should add, actually, if there's been damage or limitation in your daily work life, that might get a turnaround with Chiron going direct, because that's about your work life as well, your 6th house, and you might get more sense of direction and a clearer path forward about how to help repair things with your work life as well. So all the best, Scorpio. Please like, comment, or subscribe if you like this video, and go to sunandmooncalendar.com if you're from Australia or New Zealand to order your 2026 copy of the calendar. If you are Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising, but especially Sagittarius Rising, Chiron is stationing direct on the 2nd or 3rd of January at 22 degrees of Aries in your 5th house. This is a house of romance, it's a house of dating, it's a house of your children, and it's also a lovely house of playful energy, doing your hobbies, doing what you love to do, and even entrepreneurial projects that come out of the things that you love to do. So Chiron's been in this 5th house since 2018, 2019, maybe bringing some kind of limitation there, maybe bringing illness for a child of yours, or some kind of problem with your entrepreneurial projects, and it could be coming from some kind of inner wound of confidence inside you, because the fifth house is very much about confidence and shining in the world, like a queen or a king with confident, regal leadership. Think of the lion, the Leo lion. The fifth house is to do with, has that Leo energy. But this is not Leo, it's Aries. But Aries is fiery and energetic, and there's been some kind of limitation since 2018, 2019 with that. While Chiron has been retrograde since July, your healing journey with this, or your whatever you've been doing to try and work on this, has been more confused and vague, and it's because you've been going through an internal review to work out what your direction will be. And once Chiron stations direct early January, you might get more clarity and a sense of direction about where to move to next with your healing direction in your fifth house. So it might be that you're clearer about how to approach dating in a more positive, healed way, and not acting out of an inner wound. Or it might be that something with a child that's not well has some help, like there's some medical breakthrough or a nutritional supplement that helps, or some understanding about whatever's going on for them. Okay, or something in your entrepreneurial life or your creative projects, your hobbies, you get an understanding about where to work on next to help with those. So whatever it is, I hope that that goes well for you, Sagittarius, and you can help others through healing yourself. And all the best for that. And please like, comment, or subscribe if you like this video. And if you're from Australia or New Zealand, you can go to you can go to sunandmooncalendar.com to order your Aotearoa or your Australia calendar for 2026. If you are Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Rising, but especially Capricorn Rising, Chiron is stationing direct on the 2nd or 3rd of January at 22 degrees of Aries in your fourth house. This is your house of home and family, who you live with, the house that you're in, and your family of origin, your ancestry. But also it could be properties that you own. All right. So since 2018, 2019, Chiron has been in this house, maybe bringing out some skeletons in the closets, some in terms of not so much like grand secrets, but in terms of where there's patterns of psychological illness in your family. Maybe you discovered that there's alcoholism, something like that. And in your past, and that's, it affects the generations going forward. Or there's something in your home that's not going so well, some problems with the house itself even. Okay, and you've been trying to work through this, and you've been realizing it even since 2018, 2019, and trying to work on a healing journey there. While Chiron has been retrograde since July, that healing journey has been maybe a little more confused as you've moved to an internal review to try and work out what to do next, what's been going on, how's this going. It's a review of the healing that you've done so far. And when Chiron turns direct in early January, you will be able to go forward with more clarity and maybe have some kind of breakthrough with that healing. Find out what's actually going wrong with your house. Why are the ants coming in? Where that leak is. Or it could be that you there's some conversations in your family about what's happened for you guys in your past, and it helps to heal things with that family of origin. Or it could be that there's some illness going on in your house right now with somebody in your house, and you're able to work on that and find a breakthrough, find the next step in that healing journey. So all the best for that, Capricorn. Please like, comment, or subscribe if you like this video. If you happen to be from Australia or New Zealand, you can go to sunandmooncalendar.com to order your 2026 copy of the calendar, and I wish you all the best for your healing journey. If you are Aquarius, Sun, Moon or Rising, but especially Aquarius Rising, Chiron is stationing direct in your third house on the 2nd or 3rd of January at 22 degrees of Aries. Your third house is about how you travel around your neighborhood. It's about connections with your neighbors and community. It's about schools and learning around your community. And it's also about trade and exchange, so it can be about your small business and also about siblings and relatives. So much of our normal day-to-day life is in our third house, and since 2018, 2019, there's been some kind of wound in your third house, some kind of limitation or problems, maybe problems with your neighbors, or maybe something that's not going so well in your community, or problems with your learning or with the school, or if you're a teacher, a problem with teaching. And you've been working on a healing journey and gaining more wisdom through that, through the time. Might not feel like it, but you will be gaining wisdom. And then while Chiron has been retrograde since July, that healing journey or working to resolve whatever these problems are. Oh yes, and also with siblings, brothers and sister relationships, they're very important, and maybe there's been a problem there. While Chiron has been retrograde, there's been an internal review, okay? So you're revising some aspects of that healing work that you're doing, maybe finding some of them are not working so well, and maybe learning more about the wound or the problem itself, okay? When Chiron stations direct, you'll be able to see with more clarity what your next steps could be on that healing journey, okay? So maybe some conversations with your siblings that help repair. It could be finding out where the mold is growing in your house. Sorry, no, I'm getting mixed up with another sign there. It could be finding out where there's a problem in your neighborhood, like a leaking pipe that everybody needs to pay to contribute to resolve, or something about the school, the local school where there's been a problem. Anything about the neighborhood or trade and exchange, or some kind of problem with your small business, and you find the next step. It's not like you find totally a solution that solves everything, but you find the next step on the healing journey and more sense of direction about that. So all the best for that, Aquarius. Please like, comment or subscribe if you like this video, and go to sunandmooncalendar.com if you are from Australia or New Zealand to order your 2026 calendar. If you are Pisces, Sun, Moon or Rising, but especially Pisces Rising, like me, Chiron is stationing direct at 22 degrees of Aries in your second house, all right? And that's on the 2nd or the 3rd of January, depending on where you are in the world. The second house is about your money, your earnings, your possessions, your resources, and at a deeper level, your sense of self-worth. So there has been some kind of wound, some kind of inner wound to that sense of self-worth, and maybe limitations or a feeling of lack with your money and resources since 2018, 2019. I personally got made redundant in 2019, and my finances have not bounced back since then. I'm fine financially, but I don't have a steady and clear path forward for the future with those yet. And self-worth is always something that we need to be working on. Okay, so feelings of lack in those areas. While Chiron has been retrograde since July, we have maybe become a bit directionless with our finances, and maybe we've tried to get things sorted out and it hasn't quite been working out, and maybe more directionless with what's been going on, or realizing some more problems with our sense of self-worth. When Chiron goes direct in early January, we might get a clearer idea about where to work on next, what to work on, where to go, what kind of healer to talk to, what kind of financial advice to get, or even another income stream that comes clear to us. It's not like we can heal everything or find complete solutions, but we might find a clearer direction about the next step to move in. All right, so all the best with that, Pisces. As we work on our self-worth and the ways that we value ourselves, we can also help others with that, because we can have empathy for others with self-worth issues, and also advice for them perhaps. But don't get too bossy. Only give advice when people are ready for it. So all the best, Pisces. Please like, comment or subscribe if you like this video, and go to Sun and Moon Calendar if you are from Australia or New Zealand to order your 2026 copy of the Aotearoa or the Australia Sun and Moon Calendar. So there we go. That is all from me, everybody. I have had my Chiron wound definitely triggered lately, and that's probably partly why I wanted to focus on it this week. And so I've been delving into Dr. Google, looking at attachment styles. For me, it's anxious attachment. And later today, I'm going for a healing with my favorite local healer, Marcia Montgomery. So I feel very lucky to be able to do that. And I wish for you all opportunities for healing, people that can help you, whether they are somebody to talk to or whatever techniques work for you, journaling, past life regressions, inner child work, any kind of shadow work, all the best for that. But also, if you are working with the medical profession, the traditional official medical profession, that you have all the luck with working with that and all the help with your healing. All the best from me, and all the best for your journey with Chiron. Bye for now, everyone. Oh, I forgot. Please like, comment or subscribe if you like this video, and if you are from Australia or New Zealand, go to sunandmooncalendar.com to order your copy of the 2026 calendar. Bye for now.